we don't have a quorum quite, but let's get done with the stuff we need to get done with. And then, Greg, if you'd shoot the sign, just shoot last week's, the one just sent out,
Well, what I did was I put out a
last month's.
Here. I condensed.
Let's get the what do you call it over with, the approving last week's minutes, you know.
Oh.
Last month's minutes. So let's get that out of the way.
All right, let me go find them.
Yeah, you sent them and they're in an email.
Yeah. Well, I sent the agenda out. Okay. All right, where is it? Where?
Because we've got 4 now, so we're good.
Yeah, I'm trying to find everything here.
The minutes you sent out, so they're on there somewhere.
Yep, I got them here.
Someone's got a dog. It's probably Steve. No, Steve's muted.
No, I was muted.
That's not Steve's dog. Are you muted, Steve?
No, I just got a dog, but he doesn't bark that loud.
What'd you get?
We actually, believe it or not, don't make fun of me, but we actually got a sheepadoodle.
A who doodle?
Oh, no.
And that's a poodle and a what?
A sheepdog.
A sheep.
A sheepdog and a poodle?
A poodle and a sheep.
No, it is. It's a sheepdog and a poodle. Well,
That's
standard poodle.
Wow.
But
You got a sheepdog that draws?
yeah. But the thing is, the thing doesn't shed. That's why I got it.
Oh, is it hypoallergenic?
He's hypoallergenic. Yeah, that's why I got it.
It's
I
not
mean,
one of those.
Those
He-
Russell Griffins we got, that was the same way. I don't know what it is. They don't have dander, I guess. Huh?
Yeah, no, they don't, and they don't shed. I mean, they have like real hair. That's the thing.
How big do they get?
No, well, it depends on anywhere between medium size and a large dog. They
Oh,
get
so
pretty large.
30, 40 pounds.
Yeah, it can get up to 50, 60 pounds,
Really?
70 pounds. Yeah,
Very good.
but again, they all, depending on their parents. I got him from Texas. He flew in from Texas.
Ah, very good.
All right. I don't know about you guys, but we got some horrendous weather over here, and we may or may not speak.
Yeah. All right.
Here's
So
these are the minutes from last meeting in May. Okay.
all right. Anybody want to make a motion to accept last month's minutes?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
Someone second.
Second it.
All in favor? Aye.
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 All right. Approved. Thank you. Now, there's a couple things on there, but that's all right. We can keep going. Get the agenda back.
Yeah.
We went over to that meeting. Was anybody else? Kai was there for a little while. He's not going to be with us tonight with Dave, but nothing happened. I mean, there's really no. Greg, you went over. I mean, did you get anything from that meeting? Anything earth-shattering?
No, I mean, other than the fact that Dave's at least trying. He's got 2 years worth of dates for cup competitions, so that's pretty good. But the guy they had there doing this presentation was just like pretty much like what's her name without the sales pitch. It was
Yeah, he was great, but I mean that's was lost on me.
Yeah, well, I think it was lost on 75% of the people there. So, I mean,
But he's good. I mean, if somebody were to get him, it's a
yeah.
real.
No, I agree. He was okay.
Mike, are you still involved with the guys setting up this college thing? Are you still going to go ahead and do that?
We'll have Sports Source on board in the next couple of weeks.
All right. Let Greg know. I was telling Greg about it, and the rest of the game. When you get familiar with them, and let them know what they're doing, because apparently, as you said, they've been doing these college showcases for 25 years and have some huge, big ones. I guess the one is in Dallas. Where else? Where's the closest one aside from?
Well, no, they will come if we request it. They will come to Alice and put it on for us.
Right, but I'm saying where's another one they put on that's a show that's something to look at.
Yeah, I don't know, Paul.
Okay.
Yeah, Mike. Do you have the financials and all that?
I do. I had them.
Send me the financials if you can, so we know what See if we can try to compare apples to apples.
Have I got them? You're saying?
Mike. No, Mike. Does Mike have the financials?
Oh, for that thing. How about ours? So anyway, we'll take a look at that in a month or so, and see if that makes sense for us. I mean, I think maybe not this year, but maybe next year we start. The idea is, fellas, is that if we got a company that does this and they've got contacts and they're good at it, we talk to them about, we bring them here and get our guys in, and then whatever else they can get above that.
Yeah. Well, I would be interested on the serious part of placement. How many Division II and Division III schools do they place players in?
Yeah.
No, they're not in the business of they're not a recruiting organization. They are an organization that educates the player on how to get into the school system, and then just prepare the opportunity.
Well, that sounds like another what's her name, Lopez or whatever her name is.
No, Lopez was actually looking for business. I mean, looking to get in.
Yeah, but again, she put a whole hour and some 15 minutes into the how and the why and what you need to do.
No, these guys. Well, let's go back to this. We're talking about running a showcase. If they were going to do that, so Mike, on their showcases, you said they thought at times they had 50, 60 coaches from.
Correct. Yeah.
Because
are they a company that comes in and runs a tournament and invites these college coaches, like that Unlimited company or whatever that does and runs tournaments?
Yeah, the company is called the Sports Source, and they've been around for
Yeah. See, what I unfortunately wasn't able to be a part of the showcase this year. So much on my plate, but with that being said, I would like to lean towards having a showcase. I mean, I could run the do's and don'ts of how to get into or get a college scholarship, based on my high school's experience. I mean, the bottom line is these parents, what they don't realize is that, these kids think they're going to be great in soccer, and so they get a scholarship. Right. There's the whole picture, we don't have to talk about that now.
That was a Rennie Lopez thing. That was a Rennie Lopez
right.
thing.
I mean, you got to have the grades. You got to have the recommendations. You've got to have the skills, of course. You got to have the coachability.
The problem we had with it, Steve, before you go any further, is we had 200 and some odd people sign up and 27 fill up.
But so why can't we try to run a tournament this year, like CDL runs their CDL showcase, and just invite all the teams?
Yeah, but I mean, and again, it's not putting on the tournament. It's making sure that the coaches.
Well, we can bring this company in to see if,
So what I'll do is, and when because we are signing up, we just put in all the final things together, and we'll go live. So when we are live, I will give you all passwords to access the site, so that you could have a look at it from
Yeah, I think we look at it, Steve, before we do anything. But Michael has an inside view of this group, and you'll know a lot more about it.
But I would hope that we could, if we said we are a USA, again, we want to promote our league. Yes, we want to help our players, but we want to promote our league.
Steve, we didn't charge our players. If other players came and ours still got in without the charge, we're still doing the same thing. We're still.
Yeah, but you're not exposing it to, people sign up for tournaments because they think they're getting exposure to college coaches.
Right.
That's the bottom line.
We did have a few.
Well, yeah.
We learned very quickly that without paying them, you're not going to get more than 5 or 6 or 7 or 10 or whatever we got.
Well, we don't charge for a profit. We only charge for what we need them to play in, and with maybe just a little extra for the people that put the time in to organize it. We don't have to make a profit on it.
Our idea was not to charge. Yeah,
let's visit the situation once we get.
We'll get to it.
Well, yeah.
And we go from there. I mean,
yeah. I would just like to see more. And again, I'm not by any means commenting on the showcase because I did not have a lot of involvement on it. But I would also like, if we want to try to compare ourselves or say we're better or have more teams that are better teams, then we need to promote our teams, not just our players. And if we put on a showcase that, because USA teams can sign up for the CDL showcase.
Right.
And that's, to me, it's like, well, why don't we put our own showcase on? And
part of the reason, Steve, is that of all the kids that signed up, there was probably only 10 or so, both on the boys and girls side, that had the grades to even get to the college level.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though, is that there's two aspects of this. You're right. There's the you can expose yourself all you want, but you ain't going to have the grades to do it, so don't even bother.
Well, so
that's one aspect.
Why are we beating ourselves over the head with this? Because ultimately, that's what we decided last year, is we wanted to showcase our kids that can do that kind of stuff for Division II and Division III play.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And we didn't get.
We'll see if this group is a potential partner. If not, then we continue doing what we're doing, and we don't do.
Well, I'm just saying, I think it serves two purposes. I think, Greg, you're absolutely head on with the first purpose of the way you did it last year was to get actual kids that probably could maybe get scholarships. But the second purpose, which we've been talking about lately, is our exposure as a league, that we have some pretty damn good teams. And if you've got some of these college coaches out there saying we've got some, coming to our showcase where it showcases mostly our teams because it's a USA showcase, it just puts us on the map. Now we have USA teams playing in CDL, but college coaches don't know the difference. They just think they're all CDL. So that's the other purpose, is for us to promote our league by putting out a good tournament where, I know it's a lot of work, don't get me wrong. It's easier said than done. I'm just saying it's an idea or a suggestion. Even if we have a company do it for us, like a Sports Unlimited or this company that you're talking about, Mike, we don't even have to do it. But if our name is attached to it and we get some good competition and we can get some college coaches out there, then we're promoting our league. And that's the other purpose, is to promote our league.
Just giving kids an option that they don't have locally, free or cheap. That was the idea. And
I get you. Yeah.
It went smoothly. We did it once. We had Renee. We did that this year. We probably invested $10,000 in that stuff because we've been talking about it for 20 years. We finally did and figured out where.
Oh, again, not if we
wrong with this. So we're struggling to the the final thing, and we'll get better at it. And we'll drop it one of the two.
No, we could do both.
We're learning.
We could do both.
We're doing what the shortcomings are. Greg, can you get to the treasurer's part? I'm sure we don't have no one's got any big things. Steve, are you still good for handling the girls with Joe for this upcoming?
It should be.
All right.
As of right now, I don't see anything. The only thing that would come up would be a school thing or something, but that never usually happens on a Saturday.
I know you're familiar with the team too, as far as even starting with the where people.
Yeah.
are going to be. And I think on the men's side, we've got plenty of help with everybody.
Yeah,
Mike,
I've done my vacation for the summer, so I'm home most of the
yeah,
rest of the
just think
summer.
about
So
it when it comes in. I'm concerned about the
Yeah.
girls' programs anyway. They just drop every year, and I think if
well, they're dropping, but see, they're dropping in clubs. I mean, our club even, you know, the amount of girls teams that are signing up are just. I hate to say it, but they're playing.
It's one of the things when they asked Dave what they thought. Someone asked him at one of these panels, what he thought, because he's running for president, Dave DeFilio. And
Yeah.
Dave said, well, communication. And I mean, geez, man, I mean, you got the problem, you're dropping kids. I mean, they've missed 10, they're down 10,000 or more children.
Yeah.
They're down girls. I mean, the girls have a specific problem because everyone's trying to, at 9 and 10, grab the best girls and over years so they'll be able to fund their programs of the $5,000 girls. And the rest of them don't have any social cohesiveness because you just.
Well, the funny thing is the skill level is not as good with the girls, okay, at that youngest of age levels, and so you grab them all, and then you have maybe 10 out of 20 that come out of that saying,
right.
Okay, I'm a legitimate soccer player.
Well, yes.
Boys will play just to play. Girls are only going to play if there's a purpose.
That's
and if they don't have a purpose, they're not going to play.
No, it's so much driven by what we call now resume soccer. You're
correct.
doing it to build your resume, and we've lost sight of the fun to play
because soccer is a universal sport, but volleyball is a girls' sport, at least in Florida. Softball is a girls' sport, and what I'm seeing is like, because I coach volleyball too at my high school. Every one of my volleyball players, only 2 of them are actual volleyball players. The rest are either basketball or, believe it or not, softball players. So, the thing with it is you don't get too many that are true soccer players. They just play soccer.
In the years when we had large amounts of girl players, the girls existed organically for many years before people started pulling apart the teams.
Right.
This doesn't happen anymore. This happens now at 9 or 10. You can't even get ahead of steam up to get the relationships built that the Anson Dorrance talked about in his book, and what's her name talked about the lack of it in her book. Our great soccer star, that the girl from Texas there, and even what's her name mentioned it. She didn't like soccer, or the big score, the big girl from Florida. You read the book and realize she didn't. She played because people were her family, particularly at start, were giving her a lot of yayas for being good at it.
Yeah.
So she liked to play. It wasn't love of the game or friends. And since we're losing both of them, that's not our problem in USA. We're a scheduling body. It's FYSA's problem, and I don't see they aren't even talking about it. I mean, that's the incredible thing.
Even on the rec side, I went, this is now, last year, not this past last year or the year before, we had in U10s, we had girls teams and boys teams. In U8s, we had girls teams and boy teams. This year, we both spring and fall, we had to play co-ed because we did not have enough girls to form enough in-house girls teams.
As we get along, I mean, if you'd manage that end of it, and we may find that we've got to combine, make a high school group. I don't know. We'll see what the numbers are.
We very well could. We very well could.
That's a little tricky. Look, we did that with Tarsa, and it's a little bit tricky.
Yeah.
On for the rosters, that's the one tricky thing there.
Or it might just have to be an every 2-year thing.
Well, we tried to go. We tried to get juniors and seniors, and then we had a cutoff at 4. It gets tricky, believe me. But we'll talk about it if we have to do it.
Yeah, but
because I think the girls can play all in those ages together because they do it in high school. It's not like boys that there's a large muscle mass testosterone difference between a 14-year-old and an 18. Not the case, but still, there's an experience level, maturity, and things like that. combined teams don't necessarily work as well from a social standpoint because they're years apart and
Yeah.
years of experience apart in their lives.
Yeah.
But still, if the play works out better, we might end up with a high school.
But they do it in high school. You've got freshmen playing, although you do have JV teams and varsity teams.
Not in every county, though, Steve.
No, not in every county. But
Pinellas is the only one I know, or Pasco might have them too, but not in Hillsborough and not in.
No, I don't think Pinellas does.
Yeah, okay.
Pasco does, but Pinellas, I don't think either.
But we'll get to that discussion. Just keep an eye on it for us if you see that it's low. And
We'll see how registration goes.
Yeah, very good.
Okay, Paul, what you got up here on the
Let's
screen?
look at the budget. Well, we're not done yet, but I mean, these are close to the actual final numbers.
Right.
And as you see, we got, we took in about 136,000 in all different ways. And we spent about 147. Now we know, we know why we're off or why the budget's, why we spent more than the budget. We put 2 or 3 events in there and supported 2 or 3 events. We put a little more money into Joan Judd. And we put, how much have we sent out for the President Cup people? Maybe $6,000 there, right? 2,500 and a couple of ones.
Let's see here.
Mike, you're up. You got 25, right? FC Tampa?
They got $1,000.
I thought they went to, the region.
Right, Dynamo. I'm cutting Dynamo a check for 25 because they're going to national.
Another,
Good.
Cape Coral went, right?
Who's gonna go inside with him?
Oh, sorry.
Alan, did I?
Yes.
Okay. So did you collect your money?
No, we just went to we didn't win the President's Cup.
Okay, so you don't get to go on. You have to win it to go on. Huh?
Right.
Or have somebody fall out.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I mean, so we've got $4 or $5,000 there anyway. Couple thousand extra in Joan Judd. I think we added 2 to that.
Yeah, this is Paul. Right up here is where it's at. The 6,200 and the 4,400 right in here.
Right.
That's where we give back the 8,900 per team for winning their division. And
Well, that we budget though. The stuff we didn't budget, Renee. We didn't budget the showcase.
right, but we also didn't. The 6,200 goes to the. We didn't budget the cup winners, regionals and national stuff.
So it's not. I mean, I'm not amazed that the 10,000 is really easy to find, and I'm not concerned about
Right.
it.
No, it's all. Yeah, it's all here. We know where it's all at.
From a cash flow standpoint, we still had a surplus in a checking account, not the other account, the checking account.
Yeah.
So we're still, the bank statement's probably still at 20,000 or so, Greg.
I don't know what this is.
Right. Last year we carried over 30 grand.
Okay, so.
What did you order?
That's why we're not. We don't see a big deficit when I take a
Well,
look.
we don't have it at the bank. I mean, cash flow
Right.
wise, we're fine.
Right. But I'm saying when I look at the cash flow in the bank, because of the carryover, we're good. This year, it appears we're going to carry over about 25 grand.
Mhm. Yeah, so we're down 5. I mean, really, for the
Yeah. Right. So, I'll have, like I said, by the end of I still got a couple, like I said, the 25.
And that carryover, Greg, that carryover is really probably 3 or 4 years of carry. It keeps
Right.
moving a little year. So the budget we were just almost right on our guesses, and we redid the budget. We're in the same shape now, and we'll go from there. But we're solvent. We're well managed financially as far as I'm concerned. We're not spending a lot more than we're taking in. We're being fairly careful with the money we have and not wasting it. We don't piss it away on a lot of stupid things. I think the one area the referees were willing to spend some money, and it doesn't seem like we keep coming up with anything that's worthwhile to do. That's the one area that I'm kind of, disturbed about, because we are willing. I told Dave this. I said, Dave, if you could find, I told all of your guy from Pinellas, Greg, what's his name? The signer.
Oh, that's Peterson.
Yeah, Dave. I said, Dave, we're willing to do something. Start thinking about something that really has impact on the recruitment of referees. So, that's
what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a talk with Barry and Phil below the bridge.
Yeah.
And have them bring, maybe have them talk just for a couple seconds at the coaches meeting. Maybe not. Maybe do it in a league meeting format. Have them come and let you all know what they're doing, because apparently the assigners in the other areas are not doing what they're doing.
No, and it may be that we may be barking up the wrong tree with the assigners. Maybe there's another guy out there. Maybe it's Neil Fransden or somebody else that is familiar with referees that really can make an impact at some clubs to get them going, because we know that the whole referee thing deserves, not tonight, but deserves more effort on our part in some way, shape, or form, because now it's online. So there's no. It's easy to pass the test. It's hard to get some practical experience before you go out there, and that's the more difficult part of this, correct?
Exactly.
You get someone to your fields now, but we could do that if, for 2 or 3 clubs centrally somewhere. And the fields in Schimberg, which is really where the airport is, it's fairly centrally located. We'll always... we can always use them for stuff. We've got that artificial turf field, so we're not going to get rained out anything. We need to use the assets we have. All right. Old business. There is some, for you guys on the board, there are some changes we're going to propose. If you look at our bylaws, the executive committee can propose some changes. Just to clean up a couple things, and then if we propose it, then the members have a right to vote on it later. But we're talking about getting the forfeit language cleaner. We've got it in a couple places, and it's not clear, although it's clear to us, but it's not clear to everybody else. And the other one is the putting the teams together for the year. We've got 6 pages. I don't know if you guys have ever read that thing, but it's 6 pages of conflicting information about how you're going to organize. And basically, we know we are, we like and like to support the promotion relegation format. We even went to the point that if a team drops out, the club still gets the promotional slot if they want it. So we went that far, but we still know that the way teams merge and dissolve and merge, that many times we're not looking at the same team the next year. And we all know at the meetings what goes on, that it's a real you're making a real salad there as far as the teams go. And all of the information we have in the bylaws really is not modern anymore, because we've got to take a more modern look at what we're doing. We don't have the consistency. Those bylaws were really crafted 20 years ago for a youth soccer format that doesn't exist anymore. It doesn't exist.
Well, I like obviously we keep the promotion relegation in there as a safety valve.
Well, I think Steve, that's a desirable
right
format. We have that at the core of our being.
But what I like to see is, because the girls, the boys, I know you guys, you go through it. You have your teams that are making their argument why they should or shouldn't.
Sure.
But the girls, we run out of teams, and it's almost like, like you said, if you have a team that is going to go to another club or breaks up and reforms, there should be some kind of resume process in order for them to say we're still a Division I team
I think,
or
Steve,
something.
We have encouraged it. Some of us
And that's kind of what I do.
Between all of us, Mike, and I think Mike and Merritt and I are more on the traditional, let's stay with with what we got.
And it's easy with the boys, but with the girls, it's not always so clear cut and dry.
It's not cut and dry with the boys anymore either, Steve, but you're right. Absolutely.
Yeah. But I mean, but with the girls,
world.
Yeah, you have
teams reforming.
You have first division teams that disband.
Yes.
You know, and so now you've got 3 or 4 slots open in first division.
Yes.
So now I'm promoting 3 teams from second division on who want to be in it.
Yeah,
but I still.
You're making the best decision. So when we recraft this thing, I think we will see what we'll have is that at the bottom, the executive committee will make the choices they have to make
Right.
to the leagues.
Exactly.
At the bottom, that'll be the final say because of all of these different variables that we can't possibly in a set of bylaws. And that's the things we're looking at tweaking right now, and we'll get there by the time we got to choose these things. We know the format. I mean, we've gone through it in the last 4 years, all of us. It works. I mean, it's a mess, but it eventually comes out and works. And most of the time that the teams that we have that have sworn up and down they should be in the EPL, but they're in the second division. Most of the time when you follow through and look at those teams later on, they're not murdering the other teams in the league. So
no, they're not.
We haven't really missed a large amount. We have some problems going from 12 to 13 because we really don't have the same teams or same size teams.
Right.
But we seem to be able to make everybody moderately happy and not have we've got some problems there, but not overall bad. Well, that's it for the whole business. We're working on that. We're gonna come up with a cleaner set of bylaws in that 6 pages.
Okay, are you good? Are you good with each of these in the old business?
Yeah. The thing about the forfeit, we used to say it was 250 plus ref fees if you have ref fees. The problem with that is we don't know when we're doing this, whether we've got ref fees or not, whether we've got center fees. We don't send every ref that went out there a money for going out there. There's a whole series. Sometimes they don't show. So, to make it cleaner rather than 350 and 250, the suggestion is we just make a forfeit 250. It's not to pay the ref because we get an argument. We've got emails going back and forth saying, well, the 2 refs showed up. And look, we don't want to have that argument with everybody every time we do that. The 250 is a negative inducement not to forfeit a game. Forget about what we're doing with the money. And so we, to just make it cleaner, we're saying it's 250 of your forfeit. Forget about that we're paying refs and we're not paying refs. That's our problem. That's not between us and the clubs. And that's where we've had an issue.
You okay with the 350 on game day?
No, not me. I'd just keep it 250 personally.
All right. Okay. The 48-hour rule is going to be in effect.
Well, that was what you guys, the refs, had given us. I mean,
right.
I'm amazed that they gave that, but that was all of the assigner stuff. That was fair.
Okay. The only other issue down there is we need to get the coaches to send in the game reports for the 9s and 10s.
Well, then we tell them at the meeting that's what they're going to do when we're setting up the 9s and 10s.
Right now it's hit and miss. We barely get any of the 9s and 10s at all. So, Sherry had talked to you about the $50 change.
Yeah, and we're not ready for that yet. I mean, we've got to do some work ourselves with the board. Here's a problem, guys. We have 1,000 reschedules. Now the reschedules start right after we set the schedule. The reschedules start. There's 1,000 of them. There's not 500, there's not 200, there's close to 1,000. If we tried to charge everybody that has a reschedule, it would break us down. We would never get done trying to figure out who's supposed to be paying us, trying to keep track of $1,050. So we want to make a negative incentive to change your game after the schedule is set. However, we allow it. We allow you to put games into the spring. So somehow we started off allowing some changes within some period of time. And what we got to do is figure out how to make an incentive, a negative incentive, to reschedule unless there's a huge reason. I mean, there's some. And what we don't want to do is put Sherry in charge of having to make the decision if it's a good reason or not. We want a disincentive. So I think this year we're going to tell everybody, look, we're going to reschedule what we can, and we're thinking about instituting a reschedule fee that goes along with this. I don't think we're ready to. I don't think we can figure out how we're going to do that yet. We're not there yet. But something's got to come to cut down those reschedules. Now, the counter argument to that for all you board members is that, and I was told this. They said you have paid, you allot $60,000 a year to manage this thing, and that's part of it. And so, what's the problem? And to some degree, they're right, and that's something we have to factor in. That's part of our customer service. We play. We probably get in 98% of our matches total, all the matches played. And the under 18 boys is probably we maybe get 92%. But as we go through, we get an incredibly high amount of our games played versus anybody I know of. When you're down under 5% or 3% or 2%, you're done pretty well. So whatever we're doing has been very effective to get the games played. We're just putting a lot of pressure on Greg and Sherry during the week to scramble and fill these things in. So far, they've been able to do it. But so we're not ready. I don't think we are not ready, meaning Sherry, myself, and Greg, and a couple of the other guys I've been talking to on the board. We haven't come up with a good idea. We will. And by next year, we'll have it in place.
Okay. New business. Senior applications are due July 1st. That's a couple days.
All right.
Also,
Greg, do we know how it's been looking so far?
no, I can go out and take a look, though. I'll go out and take a look and see how many teams we got. We should have those in there. We're okay with the season starting, the senior season starting on August 18th?
We'll be at the AGM for some of you guys that have seen it.
This is the week after.
It is? Okay, good. All right.
Yeah, August 18th is the week after the AGM. The AGM's on the 9th and 10th.
So you're looking to get 10 matches in by October 15th if possible.
Right. Well, last year, if you remember, we doubled up a Saturday and Sunday twice. And I think one of them, and the sad part was one of them was the hurricane.
Right.
So
that's always this time of year. I mean, during this senior season, that's one of the problems.
Yeah.
I do think that we should encourage Friday Night Lights games.
I agree.
When we tried that, Mike, you and I talked about doing this, and we thought it was I thought it was a great idea because it's not so hot. But we got a lot of pushback. Where we got a lot of pushback is surprisingly from a lot of people because the kids maybe work or something. I forget what it was.
Football night.
But I'd love to. Yeah, that's the other thing.
Yeah, but we don't. I'm not saying that we got to schedule it. I'm just saying that we should.
No, I think it's a great idea. I mean, I think even scheduling it, I agree with you, Steve. You start to get into football, the high school.
It's high school football night,
Yeah,
or at
but
least for the.
And that's a big social event. Big
Yeah,
social.
but
Even if they don't play football.
high schoolers are not traveling to other schools to watch games. They're not going to away games.
Well, no, you'd be surprised. I got like 8 schools within a 5-mile radius, 10-mile radius in this area.
Well, unless it's a rivalry, I know that Steinbrenner boys do not go to Gaither, and that's within.
No, but that's you have a little bit more of a spread out difference. I mean, I'm over here at River Ridge right next door. I teach at Gulf High School. It's takes me 10 minutes to drive there.
Well, regardless, the coaches will know that they can play or not play. But I think Mike's point is well taken. That's a great time to play during the hot.
I would think that'd be awesome if they could do it. But
and
we should encourage it. I mean,
maybe what we do is we bring it up at the coaches meeting and we note which coaches would like to play on Friday night, and possibly the clubs that are close together that don't have a great distance.
Yes, that's the other thing.
If you did it earlier, if you did it as like a well, now you can't do it that early.
No, because you can't get past the traffic.
Right, that's the thing. You don't want Auburndale having to travel down to Braden River on a Friday night.
Right.
No, it's got to be pretty convenient to.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I agree. I think at the meeting we definitely push the idea and try and encourage as much as we can for guys that are close and can do that and have fields with lights to try and do that, because it's a hell of a good time to play from a.
Well, I think you could do one or two. I'm just saying. It would be hard to do more than that, I think.
Okay.
All right.
That's it, unless anybody's got anything else.
No, I mean, the big thing is we've got, before the AGM, we've got the senior boys, and that's a kind of all hands on deck, hopefully help to get that through, as you always, and we've always done well, so I'm not bitching, I'm just saying. That's a date we got to concentrate on, and everybody that can show up, because it's a real,
Yes.
real mess. Oh, but we come out every year, just a little bit of a little untidy. I think I want to get everything printed this year, so we're not asking Sherry to shoot stuff on so she doesn't have to shoot 5 things on the screen, and we're waiting for it. Because last time some of the claims that people made about teams from the previous year, we had to go back in and take a look, and half the time they were not accurate, So I'm asking Sherry and Greg to print out, to have all of that stuff available to us.
I got a snapshot of
the rosters if we need them.
I didn't go so far as the roster, but I do have a snapshot of the final standings for every.
Yeah, very good, and we should have access to those rosters, so that we can say, all right, this is basically the same group of kids. Most of the time, if someone blatantly lies to us, we'll know that in a couple weeks, and we'll be able to handle that. We don't have that many guys claiming stuff that's not true. Some, but I mean, considering all the teams, you got 200, 300 teams. That's not the issue. It's that guys say they've assembled the greatest youth soccer team that the world has ever seen in under 15s, and of course, you can't make any sense out of it. That's what we have, and most of the time, I find the guys that are there, between the coaches, the guys we know, and the guys on our board who have been involved for 20 years with this. We suss it out pretty good. We may miss 1 a year or 2 a year, but that's it. Out of 500 and something teams, that ain't bad. It's a messy system, though. I know Kai and Merritt and Mike all think it's just a mess. We need to clean it up, and then we probably do. Just a matter of how. It's such a messy topic. The way this thing is nowadays, right? So. But if we get to that, if you guys would just tune in and get to that, everything gets solved there. We do well at one. We got an hour before, and it seems like this board we pretty much are able to solve problems quickly. With the people we've got. So.
All right. Anything else? That it? Looking
All right.
7:45. What's going on here?
We're early.
Mike, it's a new me. I swear. I'm a new man.
We're looking for an adjournment. Motion.
I motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right.
All in favor?
Third, aye.
Good.
All right. Okay, I'm going to get the executive minutes up here from last time. This damn site ever gets. All righty.
All right, read them.
These are the executive minutes.
Somebody make a motion to approve them, please.
A motion to approve.
Second.
All
All
in
right.
favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Let's see what we got on the thing here.
Agenda should be pretty thin for that, I would think, right now.
Yeah, there isn't. The only thing I had, one thing. How do we or don't we handle the Brooksville to Citrus United girls deal?
Well, I think I thought what we said to them was right. If it's the same team, anybody up there's got to give us some kind of performance bond. Those guys dropped out last year. I know
2 years in a row they've dropped out. They've been in my division for 2 years. They drop out.
So we put $1,000 bond on them. Basically, we're telling them we don't want them in.
Yeah, I think so.
Yep.
They're gonna stop playing the league. They play in the league. I mean, they're just playing us.
No, I got it.
What if he says he's only got half the amount of girls from that team?
There's nothing we can do.
To $1,000.
Yeah, love that.
Okay, so we've got to notify Citrus United that in order for them to apply and we schedule games, we'll need $1,000 performance bond. Is that votable? Is that agreed?
Yeah, if they keep dropping out, yeah.
Yes, I agree.
Yes.
Okay.
Matter.
Well, we also have, there's one more issue, and that's Manatee. We really haven't done anything proactive there yet, have
One
we?
or two, Price.
At Minnesota?
Minnesota.
Yeah.
We got it at Goodwill. Oh, really?
Are we going to go with the recommendation of our, the ref, our ref assigner down there and have them take a last look before we tell them, hey, fellas, you got to have away games?
Yeah, I think the responsibility must fall down on those people running that area. And if it's the assigner who's losing control, then they got to play away games.
The assigner wasn't very positive about anything or much that was going on there. He recognized the effort that people were putting in. That's Mickey and I don't know if it's his wife, but I mean they're great people and they work now. At the meetings we were at, Mike, they were not there.
They're very good.
Someone else from Minnesota there.
Well,
I think
they have the right intention. It's just their members are letting them down, and
well, and they're not. I think the fields, the play they had adult games next door where guys were drinking and cursing. They had the fields were in shitty shape, but the referees were, half of the games you didn't have enough refs show up, and refs didn't want to go there.
Yeah.
More to the point. So at some point we've got to start either helping those guys out or putting some pressure on them.
I think they need, they have 2 sites in Manatee.
Mm-hmm.
There's 2 sites, and the second site that they have is supposed to be getting a turf field, according to the recreation commissioner there. Now, I don't know when that's going to happen, but the problem Minnesota has is that the ethnic men's league that's there just trashes the entire park. Okay? The language, the alcohol, everything. And they just leave the fields in shambles. Now, if we can get to start, maybe we get them, maybe they do play away this year, for this year. Next year we have them scheduled at the other place by the fire station or whatever that field is over there.
Well, give them a 1 and out. Give them a 1 and out deal. Just say, look, you got 1 shot. We give you 1 shot at this year. 1 shot. If there's any problems, we The rest of your.
No, that's a good idea, Mike. We tell them exactly what is going to happen, and we're switching all the games to away games.
Exactly. Yeah, 1 and out. That's it.
You know,
Of course.
and maybe, keeping on the, and keep
That's a
in mind,
scheduling problem for some of the other clubs, however, but they'll work it out, I guess.
yeah, keep in mind the behavior though, follows the team, whether it's at home or whether it's away.
Well, that doesn't matter. I mean, then it goes from away games where you think they're better regulated or at least
Right.
more comfortable to no games. I mean, to know that
What I'm getting at is we still need to monitor those games.
Right, but we didn't. I mean, we said we were going to go down there. 2 of our guys, I'm not being critical, I'm just saying this is what happens to us. 2 guys were willing to go down there, but the games didn't. So we, meaning the board, nobody on the board ever went to Minnesota, at all to witness what we were secondhand told about what was happening.
Right.
Now, I do believe that the referee assigners, those guys seem to be good, sober guys, not not disliking anybody without an axe to grind. But again, Greg, it's a great idea to do that, but we don't do it. We can't do it because it's very difficult for us to go just take a day off and go down to Minnesota.
No, I understand. No, but what I'm getting at though is that we will get the reports back in the game reports and from the other clubs.
Well, I think we, you know what, Greg, we've got to be. I think what Mike's idea is, we tell them right now, here's what's going to happen the first time we get a problem. We don't care what it is, and if we go in and look at a problem and they're involved, and they're involved in a negative sense, we're gonna cancel all of their home games right on the spot.
So you're going to give them one more chance?
I think so. Mike, what do you think? Steve?
1 and out. I just think 1 and out.
How about you guys? How about Steve? What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's fine. I mean, I think we can give them another shot at it,
But we have, remember, that we have done,
Every year we give them a shot.
we had Nikki, they swore up and down that they weren't going to, and Esther,
Yeah, but we've never given them an offer.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Every time we have a meeting or whatever, Minnesota seems to come up, and so I think, what argument would they have against that? Yeah, I mean, there is none. We've had numerous amounts of problems.
You know what you're going to hear, right?
Yeah. Well,
I mean, it's racist, and you're not.
I get that, but you know what?
And all that stuff, but that's not.
I hate this. Okay,
that's not true for us. We've got a number of our board members are in Hispanic clubs,
And let me tell you something. They have I don't mean to sound racist, but it's a little bit of a different breed. They play the game differently, or they take the game passionately differently.
That's okay.
Because most of my high school teams are Mexican, and they're a different breed. Now it's very difficult for me to keep them calm or under control, or to get up and brush the dirt off and keep playing.
Yeah, but some exuberance is okay.
Some exuberance is okay, but it doesn't matter, because
they go, screw themselves, stuff like that.
Right.
For you, soccer.
Right, but with my Hispanic players, at the end of the day, if they don't do what I tell them to do, they don't play, and that's the bottom line. They sit on the bench. If you can't keep control of yourself, and they know that. And they know that ahead of time, because that's what the tone is set. So, yeah, we understand you play the game a little bit differently. You're a little bit more exuberant with it, but at the end of the day, this is the way it needs to be played. And that's it.
The exuberance isn't really the issue here, though.
Well, you mean you're talking about the
having the adult league there is intimidating for some people.
Not to mention the youth parents go bananas.
Yeah.
Well, that's really what we're talking about. I mean, I can only give you the example of players, because I don't
exuberance.
I don't deal with the parents. They don't.
Right.
I don't deal with them. But with that being said, once you start talking to the league and saying, hey, we're not going to let you in the league anymore, or we're not going to let you play home games anymore, hopefully that message gets to the parents.
Mike,
You know,
Mike, what do you think about anting up some money for a fourth ref, one of our older guys that's there, and paying him to go down there for a couple a week?
Yeah, I
What do
think
you
it
think
just
about
open up the door to so many other things, Paul. I think it just opens up too many other doors. People, then we'd have to look at it at other places as well.
Yeah, you're probably right.
you know, they would have to prove to us that we were
Yeah.
being racist.
Yeah, no, I think so. Yeah, I think I think that we just got to, we got to lay it out to them as to our expectations. They got to go to their members and tell the members what the consequences.
These are the expectations. That's it. You're exactly right. And the bottom line is we had a problem with, what was the last time we had a problem with over there up in Lakeland? You know, we had problems with those teams and things like that, and we had to put them on probation, and they came back. Auburndale, thank you, Auburndale. Yeah.
And North Lakeland also.
Yeah, you know, I mean, so
Those guys gotta.
so we can use those examples of is that they're no different than what we did with Auburndale, you know, or Lakeland or any other club that we've had to deal with where it's been embarrassing, you know, and embarrassing to USA and embarrassing to their league.
And not only that, it's dangerous. Something is.
And it's dangerous.
And,
Yes.
And we're going to get accused of, well, you never did anything, and so this.
Right. No, it's a catch. Right. So I'd rather be.
My fear is that something really weird happens, and
Well, what if we give the
address it? We had a chance to, and we didn't address it. Not that.
well,
Right.
what if we give the assigner a tenner and mileage to take a look at these games?
Well,
I think every once in a while wouldn't be a bad idea just to have somebody do a drive-by.
yeah,
You know,
I
just
think we hold the signer responsible as well, right? I mean,
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, he's got stuff to do, but to give him a tenner and mileage, it may show up for that. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, maybe a sign. Yeah, every once in a while.
I don't think
You know, and they don't know when they're coming.
we'll do it, but that's okay.
What do you think, Paul?
I don't think $10 will do it.
Well, and mileage.
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, it's their area,
Yeah.
and
Well, we don't have to limit it. We'll just see what it's going to take to get him to get down there. And
all right.
well, he's
Well,
going to lose the signing fees if we move the teams out of there, away. So it's in his interest to make.
Well, no, I mean,
So-
he'll be assigning. Well, you're right. Not
yeah,
necessarily.
you're right. And then he would have interest on going to down there to.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah. I think what we can do also, Paul, is have them contact the recreation guy there, the commissioner, and get their games scheduled at that other park where the adults don't play.
Yeah. I think we should draft something before we get to the meeting and tell them, hey, here are the issues that we saw,
Yes,
and here's how we want it addressed, and here's what'll happen if we don't.
I agree.
Is that everybody okay with that?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I think that's a good idea.
We'll run
Yeah.
it before we send it out.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else? That's it.
Mike,
Anything else, Greg, that comes up between now and the thing, just send it out to us.
okay.
We can deal with it. Most of us, 6 of us are active on the emails, do respond to them, and we'll offer an opinion. So we can get a lot done doing it that way if it's something really necessary. You just got to keep your finger on it for us, you know?
Mike, king size or double? 2 doubles.
King size, baby.
Okay. All right.
There's an optimist. God bless you, Mike.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying.
I'm telling you, that's got to be the slimmest pickings you can imagine. Oh God, man.
Oh, well done.
You can live it up. This will be the last one at this. They're going to go back to the one by SeaWorld next year,
That's a good one.
to the Renaissance. So they'll be at the Marriott this year, the Renaissance next year. So
I like the one we were at last year. The other one didn't have any food at it. It was shitty, remember?
Well, yeah, keep in mind, yeah, you can, either way, you can Uber over to
No,
downtown.
I know, but I mean, the place we stayed, that World Center had more stuff. It was more
Right.
amenable to being here. I don't know why they go back to that other place.
You okay, buddy?
Tell you the truth.
That's where they get the deal. They get
I
the
know, but you know.
$120 rate. We pay 160, so they make 40 or 50 bucks each room.
But I mean, that kind of crap
Why
sucks.
barbecue chicken? You don't want
Somebody's got to pay the crew for the yacht, you know?
Yeah, right.
Is that it?
I think that's it. Anybody got anything else?
No,
Nope.
we got to get ready for the AGM. I got to get back. I'm leaving. I'm going out of town for the July 4th. So as soon as I get back from that, I'll be able to put more time in it.
All right. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Second.
All right.
All in favor?
Aye.
See you next time, fellas.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
See you,
All right,
Joe.
guys.
Take care, guys.
Be careful out there.
Yeah.